What is it about big, long, and low 60s GT coupes with a giant engine in the snout? When you hop into one, there's something going on that immediately gets under your skin. For some reason, it's very easy to forget that the Ghibli, with its 4.7-liter 300-plus horsepower V8 engine, was a direct competitor of its well-known colleagues in Lamborghini Espada and Ferrari 365 GT B4. So, in this video, we're going to be making sure you don't forget, as we will be doing a full review of the 1969 Maserati Ghibli 4.7. Maserati has produced three completely unique cars under the name Ghibli, with the most recent debuting in 2013. The second iteration of the vehicle, which was built from 1992 to 1998, was a two-door coupe that looked like it should have had four doors and resembled a Volkswagen Jetta in certain ways. The first generation, though, was possibly the best Ghibli ever made. The Ghibli was built in 1,295 units between 1967 and 1973, 170 which were coupes. They also produced 125 Spider examples, and only 37 of the 125 Spider models produced had the 4.9-liter engine and a 5-speed transmission as standard features. Maserati began offering a Spider version of the Ghibli in 1969. The traditional proportions of the front engine arrangement with a long bonnet and sharply sloped windscreen generated this effect, as did the clean lines that distinguished Giugiardo's design. It could only fit two people. The fabric roof could be raised or lowered in a matter of minutes and folded neatly away beneath the rear deck panel behind the seats. Only 20 to 25 Ghibli Spiders were ever produced with the gorgeous factory roof, which is now in high demand among collectors. The hardtop made the car a practical companion for all seasons. The Ghibli Spider was one of the final tasks Giugiardo completed for Ghia in 1967 before starting his own consultancy along the Simon prototype. The Ghibli Spider was capable of reaching speeds of 250 km per hour when it was in its 4.7 form. The new V8 engine was added to the Spider right away in 1973, and the vehicles that had it were designated as Ghibli Spider SSs. It was one of the most sought-after production vehicles in the world at the time, with 335 horsepower and a top speed of 270 km per hour, 169 miles per hour, to match its dazzling aesthetics. Additionally, it was among the most expensive. Only a fifth of the 125 Ghibli Spiders sold in the 5 years, making it a classic that is now largely recognized and in high demand. Over the years, many coupes have been converted into Spiders because of this reason. Since the United States was always the model's primary market, an automatic gearbox could be installed upon request, and many Ghiblis were sold with one. Small alterations were made to the Ghibli model lineup in the Turin Auto Show in late 1970. Mostly to the headlights, dashboard, and headrests. The Open Cup, a single-make racing series for the Ghibli, ran from 1995 to 1996. There were 25 Ghibli Open Cup race vehicles ready. They were based on the two-tier model and had Tipo AM 577 engines that had been modified to produce 320 PS, 235 kilowatt, 316 horsepower, using roller-bearing turbochargers, a free-flowing exhaust, and remapped fuel computers. Other features included a roll cage, Sparco racing seats, a Mamo racing steering wheel, aluminum shifter knob and pedals, 5-point seat belts, an automatic fire extinguishing system. This car looks less like a Maserati and more like an American muscle car, despite being of Italian design. The car's flip-up headlights and broad radiator grille with black mesh and built-in turn signals were on the front end. With a Maserati crown in the center of the grille and two rectangular air vents below, many Americans would probably ruin the car by installing some fog lights there. Although the hood is relatively thin, it has a tiny scoop in the center that gives the front end a lot of character. Looking at it from the side, it has sharp, narrow bodyline curves around from the front end to the rear. It remains straight across the door and fenders, but curves around the front and back wheel arches. There is an operational vent with 3 slats located between the door and the front wheel arch. The doors and side skirts have a similar feature in that they are both fully smooth. On the driver's side, there's a chrome door handle that complements the chrome side view mirror. It's also worth noting that the front doors feature a tiny window in the front, which is unusual for convertible cars. The rear quarter panels swoop upward as you move forward to the back, giving the car a commanding and muscular aspect, similar to Oldsmobile and Chevy cars from the same era. Things are overly basic in the back. Even at the back, the rear deck lid is only an inch thick and perfectly flat. The rear is equipped with rectangular taillights that have integrated turn signals and reverse lights. There are no visible body lines or other distinguishing elements in the space between the taillights. Maserati and Ghibli badges are featured here, however they are tiny and lack any real significance. A narrow bumper with sharp ends wraps around the center of the back, and this bumper is made of chrome. Mounts for license plates are located on the middle two humps. Just ahead of the body, a dual exhaust exit extends from the driver's side in the back. All in all, it's a beautiful yet simple design that serves as a useful reminder of how basic things were back then. This vehicle has an absolutely remarkable interior. The lower portion of the dash and the rest of the interior trim is wrapped in leather and are sewed together with black stitching, while the top of the dash is covered by a soft fabric. The same leather is used to cover the seats, steering wheel, and door panels. The section of the dash ahead of the steering wheel and above the center console is covered with different gauges in place of an instrument cluster. There's a big metal handle on the passenger side that was undoubtedly added to soothe the passenger when the driver feels like becoming a little frisky. Under the hood, you'll find a 4.9-liter V8 that was rated at 330 horsepower. There isn't a lot of information on the engine that can be verified, but it had 4 vertical twin-choke Weber carburetors and produced 20 more horsepower than the 4.7-liter engine used in the ordinary Ghibli. This particular model features a 5-speed manual transmission, which is a rare combination on this model, with only 15 models having this combination in Eurospec for the US market and just 1 of 37 altogether. There aren't any publicly available performance specifications, but you can be sure that this car wasn't exactly a slacker. When compared to many other vehicles from this era, this vehicle is actually quite rare, so you might be unable to locate original pricing information for it. During Monterey Car Week 2016, a particular model was auctioned off at a DECOM event. Despite being expected to sell for somewhere between $900,000 and $1.2 million, it didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't even come close, so expect to see this model up for auction again soon. Today, you can cop one of these 1969 Maserati Ghiblis for around $170,000. That's even more expensive than a brand new Porsche Cayenne. What do you think about this vintage automobile? Let us know in the comments section below.